Welcome to Geometry Pre-AP, greatest course in the world. We're asking today that you work on surface area of pyramids, so we're going to go over the process of that. So, formula for the surface area of a pyramid is the big B, which is the area of the base, whatever polygonal shape that may be, plus 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. Now, a lot of people mix up slant height with lateral edge. There is no symbol for lateral edge. Slant height is the height of the triangle that forms those lateral faces. So each triangle has a height. So think of it as that you're trying to find the area of all those triangles that represent the lateral faces of the pyramid. So make sure you don't use the wrong number. That means there's all those triangles inside this figure, just like there was for back in the volume video, but we need that slant height for this figure. Okay, so let's get into doing some work. So here's our first example. It says find the exact surface area of this pyramid. And so let's start off here. Let's just write our formula. Surface area equals 1/2 PL plus the base area. If I look here, this figure, base is going to have 1/2 PA because it is a hexagon. So our perimeter would equal 6 times 10, which is 60. So I got big B is equal to 1/2 60. Now I need my apothem, so let's go do the work inside this little triangle here. So if this is 5 and this is 5, remember that this is a hexagon, so that makes that a 30-degree angle. Remember, we find the central angle is 360 divided by 6 sides, which is 60, and then we have to bisect, so each side is 30, this is 60, and so if this is 5 and this is 5, the apothem right there is going to be 5 square root of 3. So we have 5 square root of 3 in here. So that gives me 30 times 5, and I get 150 square root of 3 is my base area. Now back in volume, we already were finding base area, so there's nothing big there. Now if I go over here to our surface area and look at what information I need, I've got my perimeter from my hexagon. I already knew that. Slant height. So let's look at our picture. Are they giving us a slant height this time? Yes, it's got that right angle. It's in the middle of that triangle. And I have my big B. So I have everything I need now to find the surface area of this pyramid. So 1/2 of 14 is 7. 7 times 6, we got 420 plus 150 square root of 3. Those two cannot be combined, so I just leave that alone. And I make sure I put my units on here, which is feet squared, because we're dealing with area. We're not dealing with volume, so we need square units, not cubic units. Okay, so here's one for you to do. Let me remind you, you need to be writing down the examples and the question that I ask you to work. So you need to work this one. Pause the video, work this problem out. When you're done, I'm going to put the answer on here. Okay, so the surface area of this figure will be 1,536 yards squared. All right, make sure you have all your processes and your work and even the picture for this problem. If you don't get that answer, then make sure you bring that back to class so we can talk about that and see what happened. So pyramid surface area, you have a lateral area and you have a surface area. Remember the difference between lateral area and surface area is lateral area is just all the triangles added together. Surface area is adding the base in. When we have a problem like this now, we have a complex figure, so we have to think of what parts do we have. So if I look here, I have the lateral area of the pyramid plus the lateral area of the prism plus I have the base of the prism, which is just one base. I don't have two bases here. The base between the pyramid and the prism, that's covered up. It's a sum of all the surfaces. I can't see that surface. I can't count that surface, so I don't put that surface on there. So the lateral area of the pyramid is 1/2 PL. The lateral area for the prism is PH plus, and then the base here is a square, so that's going to be S squared. So let's see if we can get some of this information. So our perimeter here is going to be 8 plus 8 times 2, which is 32. Do I have my slant height? No, I don't. I'm going to need to find that slant height right there. So if this is 8, that makes this part 4 and this part 4. So my slant height, L squared, is going to equal to 8 squared minus 4 squared, because the 8 is the hypotenuse, that lateral edge is. And so I get 64 minus 16 equals L squared. And so L is going to equal 4 squared root of 3 when I simplify it. So that would have been 4 square root of 48, which is 4 square root of 3. So I now have my L. What's my height of my prism? This is my height of my prism here. What's my side of my prism? This is my side, so I have everything I need. So 1/2, my perimeter was 32. My slant height was 4 square root of 3, plus my perimeter, which is 32, times my height, which is 8, plus 8 squared. So let's do the easy part. 1/2 of 4 is 2, so this gives me 64 square root of 3, plus 32 times 8, which is how much? That's plus 256 plus 64. When I add those things together, I get 320. Whoops, that didn't write it very good. That's 320 plus 64 square root of 3. Remember, I need my units. This is going to be inches squared since this area. The big problem with doing complex figures is you have to remember that some parts of the figure are covered up, so you don't add those into your surface area. Remember, it's a total of all the visual surfaces. You can't just do surface area pyramid plus the surface area of the prism, add them together and get your answer. One of those bases is covered on the prism, and the other base of the pyramid is covered up, so it's not there. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I'll start by this one. Make sure you have the other example and you have this one, so that you will have them in your notes and that you can get credit for doing your notes. Pause the video, do this problem, turn the video back on when you're ready to see the answer. Okay, so this one has a very interesting surface area answer. So the surface area answer here is 384 plus 48 square root of 5 plus 96 square root of 3. And if this helps you any, this came from the lateral area of the pyramid. This one came from the big B, and this is the lateral area of the prism. So I'm trying to put symbols there. They're not showing up very good. So let's just do LA there. LA of the prism. There we go. And so that's where those three different numbers come from. That may help you with finding your error. That is the end of these notes. Come to class prepared to work a bunch of pyramids. Have a good night.